Welcome into the first segment of Plead Your Case for the 2025-26 school year. I'm still Anthony DiFilippo. To my left, I have Dean Shazer and Michael McKenzie. Today, we are talking about players who got cut, players who made the cut. Let's talk about who got cut first. I'm going to read off a short list. Dan Skipper of the Detroit Lions, Isaiah Simmons and McCole Hardman of the Green Bay Packers, Hunter Renfrow of the Panthers, although they already signed him back, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Cam Akers of the Saints, Kyle Trask of the Buccaneers, Marquez Valdes-Scantling of the Seattle Seahawks, Mike Hilton of the Dolphins, Cameron Johnson of the Steelers, and Malachi Corley of the Jets. Mike, who are you most surprised about on that list?
On that list?
Or did I forget anybody?
I would have, on that list, I'd probably say Cameron Johnston, especially, following the Steelers closely, that punting battle. It seemed like it was Cameron Johnston's, and then all of a sudden it was Corliss Waitman's. Mm-hmm. And I know it's rare, out of a list to go with a punter is the most surprising to get cut, but this was a situation outside of the norm. I think my most notable cut, at least number one, it was changed because Hunter Renfrow was brought back to the Carolina Panthers on a one-year deal. But initially that didn't really make much sense to me because Hunter Renfrow being cut meant that the reserve wide receivers on the Carolina Panthers were David Moore, Jake Coker, who they knew was injured, and Jimmy Horn Jr. That's not a really good group of reserve receivers, and I think Hunter Renfrow is better than all of those guys. Yeah. Now, obviously, Jake Coker on IR, he's going to miss a good portion of the season. Adam Thielen traded back to the Minnesota Vikings. It was easy to bring Hunter Renfrow back. But both of those moves were coming. Carolina knew it, and they still chose to cut Hunter Renfrow and allow somebody else to pick him up. That didn't really make much sense to me, but here we are. My other one I would actually say is Kenyon Green, guard. Philadelphia Eagles cut him, was drafted by the Houston Texans. Remember what they did last season with Mekhi Becton, who was cut from the Jets after being a highly touted first-round pick out of Louisville. They moved Becton from tackle to guard, and he had a complete career resurgence. Now he gets a big contract elsewhere. The Eagles, they're not able to pay everybody, especially on that Super Bowl team. But I thought Green was on a very similar career arc to Mekhi Becton. Instead, he gets cut. It's just interesting to see that with a team that is so good at developing offensive linemen that have talent, and the talent is definitely there for Kenyon Green. We saw that coming out of Texas A&M.
Especially they have a big gap to fill after Landon Dickerson went down. They really don't know the full extent of that injury yet. I mean, I'm sure they do. And what did they guesstimate? About halfway? Halfway through the season is when Dickerson will return. So that's huge. Kenyon Green go to the Eagles, like you said. Perfect stance on that. Mine, I'm going to move over to the skill positions. How is there not a place on an NFL roster for Marquez Valdes-Scantling? This is a guy who played with Aaron Rodgers, played with Jordan Love for a little bit, played with Patrick Mahomes, and he put up solid numbers, decent numbers, and he was a serviceable wide receiver, also staying on that track. McCole Hardman was a dude who balled out with Patrick Mahomes, and granted, with Patrick Mahomes is probably the biggest part of that equation.
Super Bowl winner.
Statement. Exactly. And he was one of the most explosive receivers through his first 2 years in Kansas City. I'm just wondering, where is there not a spot on your practice squad for these guys?
Now, the 49ers did a really good thing picking up Marquez Valdes-Scantling.
Right.
Of course, they have the Brandon Ayuk injury and other, they needed to make sure they had some kind of insurance behind that.
That contract.
Oh, well, we can talk about the contracts all day long. One guy that kind of surprised me a little bit, they have a log jam on the offensive line is Dan Skipper. He's a fan favorite. Right. And he was kind of their guy who was more or less the Zach Banner eligible tackle who fans really loved. But that didn't surprise me a whole lot. They kind of improved their O-line a lot over the last couple of seasons. So that kind of squeezed some of their veterans out, and Skipper was unfortunately one of those cuts. But you make a solid point, Dean. You see Clyde Edwards-Helaire, a Super Bowl guy. You see McCole Hardman, a Super Bowl guy, get cut.
Akers.
Well, Cam Akers gets cut.
Akers, who was one of
those are guys that can be usable, especially in an offense like the Saints.
Yeah, I mean,
aren't that good.
After that injury with the Rams with Akers, he was pretty much serviceable until the injury, and then after he had sparks, he had flashes, never really got back to his true self. And running back is obviously one of the least valuable positions in the NFL because there's guys everywhere. Yeah. So, what I wanted to talk about was what could have been in the quarterback situation. You got guys like Kyle Trask, Bailey Zappi, Hendon Hooker. Yeah. What happened to Kyle Trask and Hendon Hooker? I mean, Hendon Hooker, the ACL, we know what happened to him. It's terrible because he was on, we were talking about it right before, Tennessee was going to make the playoffs in his senior year of college, right before he went down. And when he got drafted by the Lions in Ben Johnson's offense, everyone was excited. Oh, my goodness. Goff goes down. We have Hendon Hooker, a guy who could be more than serviceable, who has potential to be a star with the athletic ability that he has, and it just never panned out.
And I think a lot of people forget that when Hooker was drafted by Detroit, the conversation wasn't really we have a guy to go in when Jared Goff goes down. That was obviously part of the equation. But the main conversation was, we don't have to extend Jared Goff.
Right.
We can ride out his contract, and we got Hendon Hooker to potentially be a franchise quarterback.
Exactly.
Now he's dropped from the Detroit Lions roster, who willingly drop Hooker and only keep 2 quarterbacks on their roster. They've only got 2 quarterbacks signed to their active roster right now.
Kyle Allen.
It's just interesting how quickly things can go downhill for a player as their career in the NFL. And back to Akers, people forget he was a second-round fantasy draft pick.
He was a stud.
He was going to be a stud, one of the top players going into the NFL in 2022, I believe, when he gets injured over the summer. Things just happen so quickly in the NFL.
And it's hard, and I'm sorry if you...
No, you're okay.
But it's hard not to base what you think of a player off of how you draft in fantasy football.
Yeah.
Because
100%.
That's a problem I have.
We look at Cam Akers, we're like, oh my goodness, he was a second-round draft pick. Yeah, it's because the Rams didn't have a running back. He caught some passes, and he might get you 15 points a game. But that does not translate to NFL football most of the time.
8 catches for 3 yards get you 8.3 fantasy points, but what does that really do in the grand scheme of things?
Now, 3 yards, I don't know how you're going to do that.
Kyle Trask was the Buccaneers' direct backup the last couple of seasons, and he could really never stick there. Of course, they have Baker Mayfield as their QB1. Then they bring in Teddy Bridgewater out of high school coaching, and he earns the backup job. How disappointing is that for a guy like Kyle Trask to lose that job to a guy who literally just came out, quit his high school coaching job, and became the backup of the Buccaneers?
Well, it wasn't.
And I don't hate Teddy Bridgewater or anything like that.
The thing about Bridgewater coming back to the NFL, he wanted to stay at high school.
Yeah.
Right.
The only problem was controversy through the school board. Because he was giving the
wanted
kids,
to take care of his players.
Yeah, who are in a impoverished neighborhood, a impoverished area, they're giving them rides home, feeding them, getting them clothes to wear. My goodness gracious. That's the problem with America and society as a whole, but we're not going to get into that. You shun a guy who's trying to do good for society. So let me go back to the NFL and make quick $3 million as a backup quarterback. Easiest job in the world.
That's a great career backup option if you're Teddy Bridgewater.
Exactly.
To Kyle Trask, though, he never played a meaningful snap in a regular season game.
Never.
But every preseason game you watched Kyle Trask, you said, how is this the dude that in the COVID season for Florida was the only guy that gave 2020 Alabama any sort of issue? That 2020 Alabama team might have been more loaded than that 2019 LSU team the year prior. It was just the COVID season, so people don't give that season as much credit. But Kyle Trask was the only team to take that Alabama the only player to take that 2020 Alabama team to the limit. People thought he was going to have a very solid backup career as a backup in the NFL at a minimum. And now he's cut, and I don't think anybody should be shocked by it. He
Absolutely
was no good.
And not staying on the same track, just going to mention a few more players here. Isaiah Simmons.
Top 10 pick.
Yeah, what I was
at one point.
What I was talking about in terms of how fantasy doesn't translate. In Madden, Isaiah Simmons, if you moved him to safety, from safety to middle linebacker, he was the greatest Madden prospect of all time. So there goes that with Isaiah Simmons and someone else I wanted to mention. I completely Shiloh Sanders. Sanders.
Yeah.
Now, have him on your practice squad. You're still going to get publicity. You're still going to get media members around. You're still going to have news stories because Deion Sanders' son is on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You got Shiloh Sanders, who wasn't good at Colorado. I don't know how he even got a chance.
Yeah.
But Desmond Watson, a guy who weighs 450 pounds.
Oh, my Lord.
And you see videos of him in training camp. Oh, Desmond Watson trying his hardest to get in shape. He's watching the drills.
Yeah.
So the Bucs wanted this guy. They wanted to give him a chance. They wanted to get him in shape. But every single video I saw, he's standing watching. At least give the guy a helmet. But his college coaches didn't help him out, and he did not help himself out.
One more player I want to mention because I know we're getting towards the end of the segment. Another quarterback that got cut, Tommy DeVito. I'm surprised.
Tommy Cutlets.
I'm surprised
Come on
he
now.
got cut.
I was too.
Not necessarily because he shouldn't have been the odd man out there. If you got 4 quarterbacks in New York, he was probably number 4 among those. But you look at the situation Cleveland had. They had 4 quarterbacks as well. I don't think Kenny Pickett was number 4 on that list.
No.
Right.
But they found a trade partner for Kenny Pickett.
Pick?
They get a 5th-round pick for Pickett, and that's how they sort out that issue. I'm not going to believe that there was no team out there that was not willing to give up at least a 5th or a 6th round pick for Jameis Winston.
And
Jameis Winston's the 3rd quarterback on the initial depth chart for the Giants. He's behind Jackson Dart.
Right.
There's very little purpose that Jameis Winston serves on this team other than a mega insurance policy if Russell Wilson and Jackson Dart both go down.
And he's a vibes guy.
There was draft capital out there for the New York Giants to get for Jameis Winston, and you can keep Tommy DeVito a very, that's a practice squad quarterback right there. Jameis Winston isn't. No. He's a backup quarterback.
Yes.
I just am surprised that there was no trade partner out there for the Giants. I think that there was, and that New York just decided to keep Jameis Winston and cut Tommy DeVito.
Does anybody care about Malachi Corley at all?
I had him on my list, but I mean, camp darlings like Malachi Corley, they very rarely get cut, but they also very rarely live up to that full potential that everybody hypes them up to be. At best, they're, 5th or 6th wide receivers on the depth chart. They don't really jump up unless there's major injuries, and when they do jump up, they don't perform very well.
Any final thoughts, guys?
KJ Osborne, also serviceable for the Vikings, got cut from the Commanders. They have with Debo and Terry and
Noah Brown.
They're going to be
Noah Brown.
Noah Brown. That's a great depth piece.
They're going to be good again. They're going to be real good again. Jaden Daniels will not have a sophomore slump. But that's not the point of this segment, Flip.
We did it for the first segment of Plead Your Case for the 2025-26 school year. When you see these guys again, we'll be talking about predictions and more. When you see me again on the mini segment, I'll be talking about the top 5 players I'm most excited to see this season. Keep it here. You're watching Plead Your Case. Welcome back to the second and mini segment here on Plead Your Case. It's still Anthony DiFilippo with you. It is time for my top 5 players I'm most excited to watch entering the 2025-26 NFL season. Now, let me reiterate, these are not the top 5 players in the NFL for me. I just can't wait to see these guys play this year. At number 5 is the only rookie on my list. I figured I had to pick one of them. It is rookie wide receiver Matthew Golden of the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay ended a 23-year drought without a first-round wide receiver when they took him with the 23rd overall pick in the 2025 draft. Golden brings explosive speed, polished route running from Texas. He should have an immediately expanded role because of Christian Watson's injury, not to mention Jordan Love is one of the best young arms in the league that is full of them. Golden could light up defenses right out of the gate, which is why he's at 5. Coming in at number 4, I had to pick a Pittsburgh Steeler. Come on. It's cornerback Jalen Ramsey, whom Pittsburgh traded for in June. The Steelers last season had Dante Jackson, who was bad, even though some people at the end of the desk told me he was good. Joey Porter Jr. was a penalty machine last year. So what did the Steelers do? They signed Darius Slay, a Super Bowl winner, and acquired a 3-time All-Pro in Jalen Ramsey. It's an immediate upgrade over the entire room from last season, and that turns the Steelers secondary into one of the best in the nation. At number 3 is second-year wide receiver Malik Nabers. Nabers broke out as a rookie with Danny Dimes, Tommy Cutlets, and the Misfits throwing him the rock. Now enter moonball specialist Russell Wilson, top-tier vibes guy Jameis Winston, and rookie Jackson Dart. As long as he has a QB, he might be the best receiver in the league this season. Yes, I said it, better than guys like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. At least talent-wise, it's all there. Finishing it off with 2 second-year quarterbacks at number 2 is Caleb Williams. Bear down this year. I am all in on this Ben Johnson squad this year. As a rookie, Williams threw for 3,500 yards and had 20 total touchdowns. Ignore the 60-plus sacks. His offensive line was absolutely putrid. But Joe Thuney's now in the fold. Jonah Jackson's in the fold. So is new center Drew Dahlman. This may be unpopular, but Williams has all the tools to take a massive leap in a tough division. And topping my list at number 1, I teased another quarterback. It's Bo Nix, who has quietly become one of my favorite players to watch. He got better in every single game in his rookie season down the stretch, and when you have Sean Payton's trust, that's a really good thing. He had the leadership, accuracy, football IQ, not often seen from a rookie quarterback in the league, but he does have the sophomore year slump against him. If the offensive line holds up this year, Cortland Sutton remains healthy, maybe a couple deep shots to Marvin Mims. RJ Harvey's now in the fold, so is J.K. Dobbins. Watch out, Denver fans. You've got a really good one. Oh, yeah, I also drafted him to 2 fantasy teams. And with that being said, that is my top 5 players I'm most excited to watch for this upcoming NFL season. On the other side, we'll predict everything, awards, Super Bowl winner, and more right here on Plead Your Case.
I'm working here. My bad.
It's our annual preseason projection segment here on Plead Your Case. I'm still Anthony DiFilippo, still joined by Dean Shazer and Michael McKenzie. We're going to pick a ton of different awards today: MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, on and on, all the way down to our Dark Horse Team of the Year and our Super Bowl winner. So be prepared for that at the end. Dean, I will start for you. Let's start it right off the top. MVP, who you got?
Most valuable player is not most valuable player. Wow, starting off hot. Stutter, baby. It's a quarterback award.
Yeah.
We know this. If there was a year for anyone to get it, it was Saquon Barkley last year. Rushed for over 2,000 yards, had how many touchdowns? And he was backwards hurdle. Get the guy to give him the ring. Anyway, Lamar Jackson, he got robbed last year. It shouldn't have been him the year prior. It should have been swapped. The NFL messed it up, and they know they messed it up, which is why Josh Allen kind of got a charity MVP last year. Should have been him the year before. Should have been Lamar last year. He's going to go back-to-back in my eyes this year. For every 11 touchdowns he threw 1 interception. That's 43 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Lamar Jackson, who did he lose? No one. He still has the king in the backfield to help take away 55% of the looks, especially in the run game. Use your feet, Lamar. Use your arm. That's all you have to do. Be Lamar Jackson. He's my most valuable player.
You got a quarterback too, Mike, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I mean, it's become a quarterback award. Dean said it. I am going to go with C.J. Stroud. A lot of people want to say he had a sophomore slump last year. I don't think he had a slump, but he didn't play as well as he did in his rookie season. Everybody knows he went on the podcast tour that summer with Micah Parsons. I'm not sure he was really locked in, keyed in on the football season. I have not heard a peep from C.J. Stroud other than a couple training camp highlights this summer. I feel like he is keyed in, locked in. They weeded out some distractions. I mean, Stephon Diggs was good while he was there and healthy, but still, everywhere he goes, he's a little bit of a distraction. You weed that out, you're going to get a full healthy season of Nico Collins, at least we anticipate. Jaden Higgins is going to be a really good wide receiver number 2 that not a lot of people are talking about. They did a little bit to that offensive line, a little tweaking. It's still not going to be that great, but he didn't need a great offensive line his rookie season to run away with Offensive Rookie of the Year and put his name into the MVP conversation. I think this year, C.J. Stroud, with a little more doubt on his name after what many people want to say is a sophomore slump, just to say that there was a sophomore slump last year, I think he bounces back this year, proves a lot of people wrong after a lot of naysayers came out against C.J. Stroud. His second year, I think he's going to win MVP this year. And this is the second straight year I'm picking C.J. Stroud to win MVP. I'll put it out there. But this year, I'm more confident.
Well, Dean, you also picked an AFC North quarterback in Lamar Jackson. I'll go on the other side because if this guy doesn't win an MVP by the time he retires, it's just going to be a complete disgrace. Not that the NFL has picked wrong for MVP the last couple of years, but Joe Burrow is good enough to do it. I have him winning MVP this year. He throws a lot, so he throws enough to do it. His output is clearly there as far as that goes, but he also has a loaded offense. He still has T. Higgins. He still has Jamar Chase. They're all under new contract. Chase Brown is his running back. I have a lot of faith in him, especially fantasy-wise, as we were talking about on the first segment. Their offensive line is okay, and their defense is obviously bad. So the Bengals need to win a lot of games under the arm of Joe Burrow. He'll be throwing a lot, and I think he has the fuel, the fire to win the most valuable player this year.
I think that's a safe pick, Flip.
It is a very safe
because
pick.
I feel like
It is a very
the
safe
defense
pick.
is terrible, and they're
Their
going to be
defense is
losing.
awful.
They're going to be losing
Their
a lot of
defense
games.
is awful.
I want to say this. The only thing I'll say about the Burrow pick.
Yes.
It feels like everything I see from NFL media members, ESPN, NFL Network,
wanted
CBS,
to
Fox.
happen.
Yes.
They have already picked Joe
They
Burrow
wanted
as the
that.
MVP.
This is
Yeah.
what
I'm not
happened last
saying,
year.
man, I picked
I
against
completely-
Burrow.
I know.
But the way they talk,
Yeah.
it's
and the
already
media
been
and the media votes
It was
for
the
it.
same,
So
it was
at
the
the end
same
of the
thing
day,
with Allen. That's why I tell you, they
know.
messed it up. They know they messed it up.
Yep.
That's why you got it. So
Offensive player of the year, Mike, will come down to you. Go ahead.
I don't got a lot to say. This is going to be Jamar Chase.
Yeah.
Nine times out of 10, the season Jamar Chase had last year would win an Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for him, he went up against Saquon Barkley in a season where he rushed for 2,000 yards. I think he scored 20 touchdowns. If not, he came super close to doing it. Yeah. Saquon Barkley's going to win that Offensive Player of the Year 10 times out of 10. Jamar Chase would win Offensive Player of the Year 9 times out of 10 with his season. The one time was last year. Triple Crown winner. I think he might win the Triple Crown again this year. Minimum, he's going to be top 3 in all of the major receiving statistics. Joe Burrow's going to throw the ball a lot again this year. And even with all the attention that goes from Jamar Chase's way over the past few years, nobody's been able to stop him. So what makes you think that they're going to be able to even slow him down this year when he hasn't been slowed down since he entered the league in 2021?
this is like the same thing for me. You know, Saquon got it last year because he ran for over 2,000 rushing yards, but Jamar Chase cut the wide receiver Triple Crown.
Yeah.
Led the league in receptions, touchdowns, and yards. So, I mean, anyway, I'll stick with the receiver. It's going to be Justin Jefferson. Did we forget about the guy? No. J.J. McCarthy definitely didn't. Who else does he have to throw the ball to? J.J. McCarthy. Here, save my stats, Justin Jefferson, please and thank you. And I don't think there's not much else needs to be said about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with Jamar Chase as well, Mike. I mean, I had Joe Burrow as my MVP, which means he'll be throwing a lot to his number one target. So I have to go with Jamar Chase. He won the wide receiver Triple Crown. The only reason he didn't win it last year is because Saquon Barkley literally had the best season in NFL history for a running back. I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous. He'll regress enough this year that Jamar Chase will overtake him and win the award.
Hopefully not for one of my fantasy team's sake.
Good point.
One of.
Speaking of the
Hopefully.
fantasy
One of.
train.
Yeah, one of. I
They're
got
all
like
for
5
money.
teams. I got like 5 teams. It's
This
not
guy.
healthy.
All right,
That's
Dean,
sick.
Defensive Player of the Year. This is a really hotly contested award.
It is, and it's this guy. I believe he's going to deserve it, and he's going to ball out. And it's not. It's these statistics right here. Max Crosby only 12 games last year, padded 7.5 sacks, 17 tackles for loss. But I was talking about the statistics. I'm talking about 3 years, $106.5 million. That's the statistic. The man just got paid. He loves Raider Nation. He loves everything about Las Vegas. He go into the blackjack tables, the slots, hit him, hit me, hit me, hit me. Hit the quarterback, Max. 18 sacks incoming. Defensive Player of the Year, give it to him.
Mike?
I like it.
How can you follow that up?
I had a debate the other day where I actually said Max Crosby is probably my number 1 pass rusher in the NFL.
Yeah.
My number 2 pass rusher in the NFL, at least from that list, that debate I had. That's who I've got winning Defensive Player of the Year. How about 4 years, $188 million?
Yep.
Micah Parsons, Green Bay Packers. He may start the season a little bit injured. There's been talks he might have to have an injection in his lower back to play. But think about how angry Micah Parsons is going to be this season. He said he grew up a Dallas Cowboys fan. All he wanted to do was play for the Dallas Cowboys.
Angry.
Drafted there in the top 10. Said he wanted to be a Cowboy for life. Came to Jerry Jones and said, let's get this done. Let's get this extension done. But Jerry didn't want to negotiate in good faith. They really didn't want to pay him the money, especially as the pass rusher market went up and up and up. Crosby got his deal. Garrett got his deal.
Right.
Watt got his deal. Parsons wanted to go last, and he had every right to go last, in my opinion.
Did he go
Jerry Jones did not want to pay him. They didn't even want to pay him if Michael wanted to go first. He's going to be angry. He's going into Green Bay with a sense of vengeance. He wants to show the Cowboys, you know, I'm worth every bit of the $47 million a year the Green Bay Packers are giving me. You should have paid it to a guy that wanted to die for that logo, but you didn't. So I'm going to show you.
Jordan Love's making what, 55
Pretty close.
a year, right?
Yeah, sure.
And you're paying an edge rusher, and I understand his impact to the game
Yeah.
can be just as much, but it's not just as much. $47 million is not only selfish to an NFL organization.
100%.
It is. How can you say he is angry? $47 million handed
Well,
to him.
he's
Jerry
angry.
Jerry Jones gave him the money that he pretty much asked for. TJ Watt, Myles Garrett, you can't say they elevated the market when Max Crosby and I forget who else it was. I don't know if it was Hendrickson. Anyway, those guys are 38,
Hendrickson actually got
37.
1 year.
Yeah, it was only
He
a
got the
1-year
1 year
deal.
holdover.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
of some other.
Myles Garrett.
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, it had to have been Myles
exactly.
Garrett.
Yeah,
there
Myles
we go.
Garrett. They're
So
picked
forgettable.
Under a tick under. So, like, TJ, he just wanted that extra $1 million, put him at the top of the market. And here's Micah Parsons. I want $28 more million than each of you guys. I'm better than every single one of you. Meanwhile, this is the top of the top, the best of the best, and you want to act like that. I'm not preying on anyone's downfall, but if Micah Parsons doesn't succeed in Green Bay, I won't care.
Yeah, I mean, it's one-upping after one-upping after one-upping, and that's not the argument here. I mean, we can talk contract all day. Yeah. I think that contract is way too high, but I also think Micah Parsons is going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. I mean, he's coming in. You can jab him with whatever you want. He's going to make jab step moves on you. On the defensive line. Micah Parsons is going to win Defensive Player of the Year this year. Mike and I were on the same wavelength there. Again, Offensive Rookie of the Year, I feel like all three of us may agree with this. Dean, I'll let you go first.
It's the number 1 overall pick. It's Cam Ward.
Okay, we
didn't discuss beforehand.
Yeah. Okay.
I did get to look at yours beforehand. We do agree.
I know we agree on this one.
Elite playmaking ability, got good feet, can sling it, high football IQ, finds the open receiver. He's a baller. Cam Ward, Calvin Ridley, ballers. He's not only going to propel Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Chika Kongwu, he's going to propel his offensive line because he's going to be able to escape sacks. He's going to be able to maneuver in the pocket, evade. He's going to make plays. This is the number 1 overall pick we're talking about. And if you look at Miami's record, that doesn't matter because he kept them in games. Their defense was bad. So it's Cam Ward.
It wouldn't shock me. I think Cam Ward's got a chance to be good in this league, but at least his rookie year.
No.
From his head coach down to the last practice squad player on that roster. Other than Cam Ward, I'm not sure they really have a superstar elite player on that team. They got a bunch of dudes.
He's going to elevate Ridley.
Just dudes.
He's going to elevate Ridley.
I'm not sure he can elevate Calvin Ridley at this point in his career. It would not shock me. But you look at Van Jefferson's going to be one of his starting receivers.
True.
We saw, as with the Steelers, you're not really going to be consistently efficient with Van Jefferson as a starting receiver on your team.
Well,
I'm going to go Emeka Egbuka.
Yep. Okay.
You look at Chris Godwin, he's going to start the season injured. He's not going to play a lot. Mike Evans is getting into the latter stages of his career, and everybody knows that. I think this is the first season he doesn't eclipse 1,000 yards. Emeka Egbuka is going to have a very clear-cut role in this Buccaneers offense. When he was drafted, everybody said he's going to be the number 3. You got Evans, you got Godwin there. What role is he going to have his rookie season? At least the first few years of his career, because Evans still has multiple years on his deal. Godwin just got signed for 3 years by Tampa Bay. What role is he going to have? But we're going to very quickly see that Egbuka has a wide receiver 1 type of role. I'm not sure it's specifically the wide receiver number 1, but where he's going to play, the offense that he's going to play in, his quarterback Baker Mayfield, he's going to be his best friend because he's not going to do a lot of highlight reel stuff, but he's going to do so many little things that make him so pesky for defenses. He's going to be open on pretty much every single play. Whatever route you want him to run, he's going to run it precisely, get open. Baker Mayfield's going to find him a lot, many times in the end zone, I believe. Egbuka is going to be the offensive rookie.
Yeah, I mean, going with the number 1 overall pick is not a horrible move.
No, you don't think?
I mean, Cam Ward should be the odds-on favorite for the award, but I also have Emeka Egbuka here in an offense, and we talked about the Joe Burrow-led Cincinnati Bengals. They throw a lot there. Same with Baker Mayfield in Tampa. He throws a lot because he has 3 different targets that he can use. He can use Chris Godwin when he comes back from injury, Mike Evans, and then Emeka Egbuka. He's going to get the ball enough. He's going to get enough targets. Cam Ward won't elevate the Titans enough, like Mike said, to get over that hump and to spotlight Ward for the award. But, yeah, Egbuka is my Offensive Rookie of the Year. We will go pretty rapid fire here at the end of the segment. Defensive Rookie of the Year and Coach of the Year. Let's do those together. Mike, we'll start with you.
I got Kenneth Graham for my Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was outside of Mason Graham, my number 1 defensive tackle. I'm not saying he's going to have an Aaron Donald-like career, but he's got some tendencies. Smaller frame, smaller guy, but has such freakish athleticism and strength for his size. He's just going to wreak havoc on offensive lines the entire season throughout his entire career. I wish he fell to the Steelers at 20. He didn't. They got Derek Carr, but I'm still very happy with that pick from a Steelers standpoint. Coach of the Year kind of bleeds into my dark horse team of the year is Dave Canales. I feel like you get Ted McMillan, a true number 1 receiver for Bryce Young. Hunter Renfrow is going to play a little bit. I think he's going to be really solid for Bryce Young. When McMillan can't get open in certain places, Renfrow can. And I feel like they've got enough superstar players on that team that you can work around those superstars both offensively and defensively to get this team in a very weak division in terms of how many games the top team in the division is going to win. They've got a chance to win that division this year.
Yeah, the NFC is weak as a whole, but I'm going to stay in Big Ten talks. All-American, Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year, Abdul Carter. I mean, there's not much else to say with that defensive line. Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence. What does he need to do? What does he need to do? He doesn't need to do much, and they're only going to help him in the off-the-field technical work as well. Abdul Carter's going to take a leap. He's going to be just as good as Micah Parsons, if not a tick under Micah Parsons when it's all said and done. He's going to be your Defensive Rookie of the Year. Moving on to Coach of the Year. Is this going to surprise you either? Probably not. Ben Johnson, Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions. When it comes to play calling, we're talking about a Swiss Army knife. You need a nail plucked? Ben Johnson got you. You need a screw fixed? Ben Johnson got you. You want a deep ball? Here you go. J-Mo, not anymore. Roma Dunze. I got all the weapons. That's what Ben Johnson's about. He's going to be your Coach of the Year when the Bears finish 10-7 and are first-round playoff.
Yeah, I've got a little bit of a mix of you both. Abdul Carter is my Defensive Rookie of the Year. And Ben Johnson is my Coach of the Year. I love the additions the Bears made to their offensive line. They got Caleb Williams now in his second year. He's another year under his belt. And they got the weapons now to do it. Colson Loveland, especially being added to that offense. The top tight end taken. I don't care if people can argue that Tyler Warren should have been taken over him. Colson Loveland from Michigan was still the top pick in the draft. And my dark horse team of the year is also the Chicago Bears. We'll go quickly down the line. Ben Johnson, his track record, obviously I have him winning Coach of the Year. He was really good at Detroit. I would love to see what he's going to do with that offense, and we'll see it on primetime Monday Night Football against Minnesota to start the season. Dean, Mike, quickly, dark horse team of the year.
Try to make this quick, but I want to bring up
Super Bowl
points.
winners, if you can.
Okay. Tennessee Titans, dark horse team of the year. Are they going to surprise people and go from like a 4-13 season like the Commanders, take the Super Bowl champions at halftime in a competitive game with a hurt Zach Ertz, a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels, a running back who's a year removed from being shot in Brian Robinson? I mean, who thought the Commanders were going to go that far last year? No one. It's going to be the Titans this year. Are they going to make a playoff spot? No, not at all. But are they in a weak NFC South division with a first-year head coach and Liam Cohen of the Jaguars, Daniel Jones as a competitor for the Colts, and C.J. Stroud, who had a sophomore slump last year, your dark horse MVP? Titans are going to win 7 to 8 games this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people, and Cam Ward is going to be an absolute animal in 2 years. So the Tennessee Titans, not going to make the playoffs, but they will be competitive.
You look at the dark horse teams from the last few years, Bengals in 21, second year Joe Burrow, rookie Jamar Chase, 2022 Giants, first time rookie head coach and Brian Dable, Saquon Barkley coming off of an injury. 2023 Texans, rookie quarterback C.J. Stroud, first time head coach Nico Ryans.
Where we go?
Commanders, Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn returning to coaching for the first time since COVID. Young quarterback, most times a rookie, but in my instance not, but a young quarterback, young wide receiver, and a first-time head coach. For the most part, that's been the formula, at least a combination of those things. I think the Carolina Panthers have it. Bryce Young, second half of last season, was exceptional. You get him a true number one receiver in Ted McMillan, just an athletic freak on the outside. You can get him Hunter Renfrow in the slot every now and then to get open as a little bit of a security blanket. And you look defensively, they've got stars like Derek Brown and J.C. Horn, one on their defensive line, one in their secondary. I think they've got the superstars. If they can do just enough with the players around them, they could very easily win 10, 11 games and win the NFC South. It would not shock me at all. I actually think it's going to happen. Give me Carolina as my dark horse team. I'm going to be happy to see Bryce Young succeed this year, even though I think he stole the Heisman from C.J. Stroud because of how the 2021 season ended in college football. But that's that. My Super Bowl winners, I didn't really think about this before the show, and it's going to put a knife in both of your hearts and mine as well.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens.
I was between 3 teams. One of them was the Ravens.
I'm not going to elaborate because I don't want to.
One of them is the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm going to go
but
very chalk. I got the Kansas City Chiefs winning the Super Bowl this year. But good conversations, good debate here on our prediction segments. Come back in about 5 months to see how well the three of us did. For Dean Shazer, Michael McKenzie, our first-time rookie producer, Ethan Spozarski, I'm Anthony DiFilippo. We'll see you next week.